For our color wheel, it's important to understand the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. They're important because no colors mix to make them, but they mix together to make every other color. The colors that they mix to make are called secondary colors. These are orange, violet, and green. Then we have tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are located between primary and secondary colors. They're extremely important because if you're looking to create a color that isn't necessarily yellow but isn't necessarily orange, for your color wheel today, experimenting with mixing the different types of paints is going to help you tremendously on getting the color that you want. When it comes to tints and shades, tints are just a lighter version of the color that you have. We usually achieve that with paint by adding white to the color. To create a shade, we have black or darker color to make it darker. With orange and yellow for our color wheel today, we are going to be mixing with black. However, usually I'll mix with brown or even a little bit of blue to make it darker. That way it doesn't suck up as much color as black might. For your color wheel, we're going to start in this inside layer with your primary colors, then mix secondary, then mix tints, and then mix shades, also tertiary. So where it says primary, we're going to start with our first primary color with red. Go ahead and just paint that inside box red. Wash your brush out. Make sure you wash it pretty well to get the red out there because we're going to be using yellow next. I wipe out the paint and the brush. Yellow paint next. Find the next primary section. Wash it out. And the last primary color of blue. Then wash my brush out again. Get my secondary color of orange, because that's mixing yellow and red. Always start with your lighter color first. So I'm going to start with some yellow, and then I'm going to pull some red. It's easier to make your color darker than grab too much red. So I'm going to go back to yellow, grab some more yellow, and add it. If you need to wash your brush out because it has too much red in it, like I just had to, you are more than welcome to do that. I'm just going to get plain out yellow to add to make it more of an orange. Now that I have the orange on my brush, I'm going to add a little bit more red to make this tertiary. The tertiary one is just called red-orange because it's between the two. So it's more of a reddish hue, a reddish orange. So you want to start to see your colors fading into each other. I've flat out red, I've red-orange, I've orange, then I need yellow-orange. That means I just add a lot more yellow to my color, make it a brighter orange. Probably add some more yellow. Out. Now first, next secondary color here, we're going to make green. So since yellow is brighter than green, or yellow is brighter than blue, I'm going to get some yellow and just a little bit of blue. Just mix it on my paper. You can also mix it in your palette. To make it blue-green, I added more blue to it, so it kind of turns out like a teal. Then I need that first green I made was a little too yellow. So I got some red in there, so it is turning a little bit more brown. Rinsing my brush out again, and my final secondary color is violet. Now this may turn out a little more maroon. Start with my red, add a bit more blue, get a nice deep violet. Then we need violet red, so I'm going to add some red to it. The blue violet, so I'm going to add some more blue. I give this nice fading from light to dark, dark to light. That's your main hues, your main colors, right in that middle ring. On the outside ring, we're going to do tints. On the inside, we're going to do shades. So I'm going to start with the tint of red. I start with red, and then I add some whites. Actually, we're going to start with that a little bit of red. Tint of red is pink. The lighter version. Now I'm going to keep the color in my brush. Since I need the tint of the orange red, I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow to it. For that section, to get that tint of orange red, and I'm going to add some more yellow, the tint of orange. Now I may need to start adding some more white back in because it's not looking as light as it should. Next, I need the tint of orange yellow, so I'm going to add even more yellow right in that same color. I have not washed my brush yet. I need to add a little bit of red to that because it's looking too yellow. I'm washing my brush out now to get my next primary color. Push it out, squeeze it out, get my white, get some yellow, the tint of yellow. And since I'm going into green, I'm just going to get a smidge of blue. I need that green yellow tint. Green tint. Definitely need to add some more yellow and some more white. And I need the tint of blue-green, so I'm going to add some more blue. Looking too similar, so going back in, adding more blue. Then I'm going to wash my brush out because I'm done with that set for the primary or the tints. Getting blue and white then on my brush. A tint of blue. Keeping the color on my brush to get the tint blue violet, so I just add a little bit of red. Then even more red to get the violet tint. So it's just experimenting with how much of each color you need. And the red violet is last, so I'm going to red. I'm done with my tints, so then on the inside, I need my shades. I'm again going to start with that red and do what I just did, but instead of adding white, I'm going to add a little bit of black. Black is such a dark color that's going to suck up a lot of the color that you do have. Blue. A shade of the orange red. Yellow, get the shade of orange. Now usually if I were making orange darker, I would just use red. yellow, or I would use brown, like a shade of orange and yellow. I would have brown instead of black. Wash your brush out. The reason I would have brown instead is because it isn't as harsh of a shade with the black. Next is yellow, just a tiny, tiny bit of black. It ends up looking green depending on the black that it pulls. A little bit of blue to it to get the yellow-green shade. Black for the shade of green. Usually get a deeper green, I'll just add blue to my color. Black on that one. A little bit more blue. Washing my brush out one last time before we're done. Take my blue, take a little bit of black, get my shade of blue. Your red, shade of the blue violet, red, a little bit more black, get my shade of violet, get my shade of the red violet. And then your color wheel is done. This kind of gives you a hint as to what colors you'll have to mix for your final project.